In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact checklist my team and I use each and every week when managing Google Ads accounts professionally. We use this checklist to give us a master bird's eye view of every Google Ads account we run every single week. With this checklist, we're always on top of all the latest changes, and it's how we're able to spot all the most impactful optimizations that need to be done each week. I've been running a Google Ads agency for over 10 years now, and we've generated more than $150 million in revenue for our clients. This checklist is what we follow every week to manage all of that. So follow this checklist every week and you will be able to manage your Google Ads account like a true professional. And don't worry, because later I will give you your own copy of this checklist that you can download and use in your own time. So for now, just stick with me as I explain how to use it, and then later you can download it and then start using it for yourself. All right, let's dive in. All right, guys, so here is the checklist. Now, there is a copy of this document in the link in the description below this video if you want to download your own copy of this. But for now, hang with me here so that I can show you exactly how to use this checklist to get you that master view of Google Ads once per week. All right, so the goal of this checklist is to run it once per week. Usually we'd do it at the end of one week or at the very start of a new week. Up to you which one you want to do, depends on your workflow. But this is designed to ensure you always have that master bird's eye view of the major trends in the account. And what it does is it allows you to identify any major trends and quickly find if there's any issues. And then if there are issues, then you're going to want to zoom in and figure out what the issue actually is. So we're taking like a high level view, and it does allow us to spot every single issue, but we don't need to check really granular stats. Like we don't need to check the CTR of every keyword every week. We don't even need to go into quality scores or impressions. We're going to check the core metrics for each campaign and account. And then that's going to allow us to see if we actually need to dive in further later on. So that's the kind of idea. It's a master view that very quickly allows you to spot the trends and issues in the account if there are any. If there are any issues discovered, then you need to drill down. That is when you might need to drill down into lower level metrics like individual products, keywords, ad groups, days of the week, etc. to fully assess that stuff. The high level process. So just looking at this process from a high level, this is what happens. You want to be looking over the account with a fresh set of eyes every week. So put yourself, try and put yourself in that position of looking at the account as if it were totally new to you. Always try and do that every week. And then you want to find any new issues or opportunities that have arisen since last week when you last did this. For any issues or opportunities, drill down as needed to investigate them. For quick and easy things to do. Sometimes you spot an issue and it's going to take you 2 minutes to fix it. So for those things, just fix it on the spot, right? Pretty obvious. But sometimes you spot something that's going to take like maybe an hour or two, or maybe even a number of days to fix. So in that case, add it to the list, add it to your to-do list, because we want to keep this weekly review process like quick and impactful. And if you start trying to fix all the major things during this process, then it takes too long, right? So this is part of the process, is to identify the longer things, the longer optimizations, and then just add them to the list and prioritize your list for executing later on. And the goal really is to then enter the week ready to execute, okay? So here's the checklist, and first off, let's cover the major columns that you want active on your main screen in Google Ads. So you want your daily budget, your bid strategy type, and I'll show you these columns in just a moment in Google Ads, but first let's list them out here. And then you want either the bid strategy target ROAS or target CPA, depending on whether you are in a ROAS focused e-commerce account, or maybe you're in more of a CPA focused lead generation account. Whichever one metric you're using the most, have the bid strategy target ROAS or CPA there as a column. You then want your conversions, your conversion rate, your spend, revenue, ROAS or CPA. So if you don't have revenue because you're generating leads, then you can skip this column, and then ROAS or CPA, depending on which metric is your primary metric out of the two. And then you want the three most important impression share columns, which are search impression share, search lost IS due to rank, and search lost IS due to budget. So this is how it looks in an account when you've got them active. Some of you might be surprised that I didn't say, hey, include your clicks and impressions and CTR there, right? And I do actually have these columns up, but when I'm doing the weekly master view check-in, I barely look at these at all, to be honest. Like CTR, clicks, impressions, if there are any issues in any of those metrics, well, you're going to spot it when you look at your revenue, ROAS, and conversions and conversion rate. So really, you don't need to look at this because we're spotting the trends right now. Like if CTR was down, but conversions were the same, revenue was the same, your ROAS was the same, like, then the CTR going down doesn't really matter. So we're really looking for the trends and issues only in the metrics that truly matter, the metrics that are related to your business results, i.e. how much you spend, how much you made, how many sales or leads did you get, what was the ROAS, and then yeah, impression share as well, because impression share gives us an idea of our growth potential. So that is important to know as well. So we don't really need these columns over here, but these are how the main columns look when you've got them up in Google Ads. To add the right columns, you just want to come here to columns, modify columns, and then for each of the columns I listed here, you can find it in this space. You can search up here. ROAS won't actually be called ROAS, so if you search for ROAS, you probably won't find it, or you'll find target ROAS, but that's not what you're looking for. For ROAS, you want conv value divided by cost. That's your ROAS column there. So you can use the search function, or you can just look within the all columns section here. Most of the columns are going to be here under performance. Some of them are going to be here under conversions. So you see I've got those ones there. And then the impression share stuff is going to be here under competitive metrics. So I've got these three from competitive metrics. From conversions, I've got these ones, conversions, conversion value over cost, which is ROAS, conversion rate. And then the standard columns under performance, we've got clicks, cost, impressions, and CTR. We don't really look at those. We mostly just look at cost and then the conversion focused columns. So pull up those columns and then you can order them how you want over here and then save that once it's done. And then you can start reviewing these columns in Google Ads. And here are the levels to check. So you want to check both account level and each campaign level for each of these columns, right? So first of all, look at the account level, which you'll see down here. So you can see, okay, account level 2.38 ROAS, okay, 33% impression share, 140K revenue. So start looking at the stats at account level, look at all your stats at account level, and then also rank in descending order of cost so that the top spending campaigns come up to the top, and then review each of the campaign's major stats here as well. And then in terms of timeframes, so you want to review all of these columns, you want to review account level and then individual campaign level. And then in terms of timeframes to check, you want to look at last 7 days. So you want to look at a few different time ranges to give you the full picture of what's going on here, right? So look at last 7 days. And get a picture of how it was performing last 7 days. And then if you need to, and for the graph up here, I would usually put on cost. And then either CPA or ROAS, depending on whether you're a ROAS focused account or a CPA focused account. Cost and ROAS. So review past 7 days. And then also if you need to, if you spot something that looks like it's changed and you need to do a comparison, pro tip, you can do a comparison like this. Click compare and then click previous period, click apply, and then you've got these nice little comparison numbers in here. So if you spot something in here that you need to investigate, one way to investigate is to look at the week on week change, and you can do that using that compare feature. When you use the compare feature, you can also expand like this. So let's say I noticed, ROAS was down 12%. That's the change week on week. And I want to see where was it down? Which campaign was causing that? Then you can expand up here, and then you can maybe rank it in terms of change. So then the campaigns that change the most will be at the top. And then you can see, okay, so most of the change, a lot of the change came from this campaign, which actually went up 150%. It's now at 3.7 ROAS. Oh no, the change was 3.7. It was at 2.45 2 weeks ago. It's now at 6.15. So this is how you can use the comparison feature week on week to try and get a picture of what has changed and what's causing the change and why. Another date range you want to always look at is your past 30 days. So look at past 7 days, then look at past 30 days. And I hope you're getting the sense here that these checks aren't just like check one thing. It's not just like check one metric and then one time frame. You really need to build up a picture. So you want to check multiple time frames and you want to check multiple ways of comparing the data. So check the past 30 days. And then if you need to, you should also do a 30-day comparison like this. And then once again, you get the comparison stats here. Like let's say, oh, right, revenue went down 6%. Why? Which campaign was dragging it down the most? Rank in order of change. And then you can see, okay, so most of the change in revenue was coming from this campaign. That's how you can start to diagnose any issues that you might see. So super useful to be using this comparison view. Okay, also do past 30 days year on year. So that's another very useful comparison to give you a picture of what's going on. And to do year on year, you would do past 30 days. Then you do compare. And then instead of previous period, do previous year. And now you can see how your stats compare year on year. So now we can see, oh, okay, so, oh, well, month over month, I was down 10%, but year over year, I'm actually up 56% in terms of revenue for the account. So, okay, that's like making the picture look a bit better now, giving me a more complete idea of what's going on. And then another thing you can do after you've done your past 30 days compare year on year is to start looking at the trends over the recent weeks and recent months. So first up, let's look at the past 8 weeks trends segmented weekly. So there we've got our 8 weeks. We've now selected the past 8 weeks. Click apply. And then what you want to do is segment by time, and then you can do by week. So now we are looking at the past 8 weeks segmented weekly, and then you're going to get a lot of information here. So you want to just scroll down to the bottom, right? Scroll down, and then where it says accounts, open up here. And now what you've got, oh, you also want to make sure you turn off any comparison when you're doing this. So click apply. All right, that's working better now. So now you scroll down to the bottom and you see where it says total for the account. It's going to be showing you the weekly view for each campaign. That's too much information. We want to look at the weekly view for the whole account. And there it is there. So now you can see the weeks going by, and we can see how our major stats changed over time. So you can see, ROAS went 2.1, 3.2, 2.3. You can see the trend in revenue. Okay, so revenue was lower there and then higher there. So this is where you can now build up a picture and start to see how your statistics were trending over time. The other thing you can do also is do the past 6 months. So let's just do April and bring it back. Okay, that's the past 6 months. Click apply. Yeah, the other thing you can do is past 6 months, segment monthly. So this gives you the bigger picture view of the trend over time. So segment by time and then do month. Again, scroll to the bottom of the screen because you don't want to look at this on a campaign by campaign basis. Too much information. We need to see the big picture trend. Here at the bottom, it might be closed like this when you first come here. So click account, and then you can see past 6 months how your revenue and conversion rate and conversions and ROAS and impression share and all that lovely stuff. You can see how that is changing on a month over month basis. You can also, if you really need to, break down by channel. So for example, if you need to see specifically over the past 6 months on a month over month basis, how did search perform? You can open it up there. You can see how did display do, shopping. So you can break it down by channel as well to see these statistics by channel, or you can just look at the account and see past 6 weeks on a monthly basis. How was the trend over time? Really useful to be doing that each week. Okay, a couple of other checks that you can do. Ad approvals. So in order to do ad approvals, what you want to do is come over to your ads over here and then add in a filter. Actually, I've already got the filter saved here, but you click add filter and then type in policy and then click policy details. And then what you can do is, here's my, not policy details. You want policy approval status. And then you can click here to filter for disapproved ads. And then, yeah, you just want to check if you've had any disapproved ads over the past week. Anything that got disapproved could mean your ad group or your keywords aren't running, so you want to fix that. You always want to be on top of ad approvals in the account. Next thing to check would be your optimization score. So each week you want to come in and come to your recommendations over here. So Google gives you an optimization score, right? And what we do is we always aim to have it at 100%. Now, there's an important caveat here, which is that doesn't mean we actually use all of Google's recommendations. No, that most of them are rubbish, but you should at least review all the recommendations every week and dismiss the ones which are rubbish, which are basically most of them, 80 to 90% of them are rubbish. But like 10% of the time, 5% of the time, I don't know, like a few times, they do actually give you a decent suggestion. So when there is a decent suggestion, use it. And when it's a rubbish suggestion, just dismiss it. And when you dismiss it, then that counts towards increasing your optimization score. So a really easy thing to aim for is just to always aim for 100% optimization score. And that is not saying that you've actually done all the recommendations they gave you. That's just saying you've at least considered them, and you consider it. And if it's nonsense, you dismiss it. If it's good, you implement it. And then once you've done that, you get up to 100% score. So we just try and get there every week just to make sure that we've at least considered all the recommendations. Like, for example, this one here, improve your PMax asset groups, get more conversions by adding or improving assets. That's not a useful recommendation for us. We already have a separate weekly process where we review all the assets in every campaign and replace them as needed. So then I would just dismiss all of this version of the recommendations. So dismiss that. I will do it later, just dismiss, done. Okay, so yeah, then you can see my optimization score went up. I didn't use the recommendation, I just dismissed it. And yeah, the idea is just use or dismiss each of the recommendations in there so that your optimization score goes up, and then you at least know that there hasn't been anything important missed within the recommendations pane. If you're looking at this checklist so far and thinking, well, that's great, but I haven't got the time or skill to do all of that myself, well, listen up. My Google Ads agency, Big Flare, is currently accepting new clients, and if you want a team of professionals to take your Google Ads to new heights, well, feel free to get in touch via the link in the description below this video. We've had stellar results with Google Ads for our clients. For example, check out this client, and this one, and this one, this one, and this one. So if you need an agency to manage your Google Ads account for you and you want to get results like that, well, click the link in the description below, get in touch and speak with yours truly. Google Merchant Center, important to check every single week for e-commerce advertisers. So over in Google Merchant Center, you want to check if any products are disapproved and if any products are limited. The not approved products are the priority here. If anything is disapproved, then red alert, top priority, get that approved as quickly as possible. Limited products, work on if you have time. That's kind of icing on the cake. A lot of the time, the limited products aren't actually limited, but Google just gives you a warning anyway, but it's good to be on top of those. So come into Google Merchant Center here, and any not approved products you will see here. Any limited products you will see here. As you can see in this client account, we're keeping very on top of this stuff. Nothing disapproved, only a few things limited, which we'll sort out this week. And yeah, just stay on top of this, right? If anything is not approved or limited, then you can view all products that need attention. You can see the limitation or disapproval reason, and then you just need to go and fix that as quickly as possible. There's a couple of things that you might expect to see here that we don't actually have here. So for example, checking your ad creative, checking all your ad creative and pausing losers and writing new winners. So ad creative optimization, that is a weekly thing that you should do weekly. We don't put it on our master view checklist because we have that as a separate weekly task, right? Same thing with reviewing the search terms. Go through all the search terms, go through all the audiences that are coming up in your audience and search term report, and then use that information to improve your search campaigns, improve your product titles. Do that once per week. That's another thing that we don't have here because we just have that as a separate weekly recurring task. Shout out in the comments below if you want a guide, a YouTube video guide on how to actually complete those separate tasks each week. Right now, remember though, we're just getting the master view, right? So we're not actually going to check individual keywords today. We're not actually going to check the search terms report or the ads creative optimization stuff. Like we're not going to check our ad groups and whether any ad creatives need to be paused and winners created, because those are separate tasks, right? And then we've got the PMax spend analysis script. So let's come over here. So we check this script and report at least once per week for any account that's running PMax, and you should do the same, because this will tell you if, for example, PMax has just suddenly decided to blow all the budget on some random video that you didn't expect it to do, and it can do that sometimes. So let's just explain what's going on here. So we run this script that gives us a breakdown of cost and conversions by channel. This is for PMax specifically, so then we can actually see, okay, so PMax is mostly spending in shopping, mostly getting conversions in shopping, search there. And the cool thing that we can do, and the important thing to do here, is not just check the spend and conversion distribution, and you want to make sure that PMax isn't suddenly spending a ton in video or display and it converting a lot less there. So you want to get an idea that it's spending the money in the right place. You can also see it split by campaign here, so you can see how much each campaign is spending on search, video, display, and shopping, and you can see the conversion by campaign split. So this is all looking good. This is what we want to see. It's like mostly shopping with a bit of search, right? And a tiny bit of display, which is primarily going to be retargeting. And the other thing you want to check, there's a lot of tabs in this report, but the other thing you want to check on a weekly basis is over here on the campaign by campaign level. Check each individual PMax campaign by selecting it up here, and then you can see over time if there were any changes in its spend distribution, right? So this is where you can see if PMax suddenly spent way too much money in video or display, you would suddenly see video or display spiking up in spend here. Now we're not going to see it in this account because we're managing this account pretty closely and none of that stuff's happening here, but you do just want to check this weekly in case that happens to you. We have the paid version of this script. We paid for the premium version. Like we're an agency, we've got like loads of accounts, so we use this across all the accounts, so it's well worth it for us to pay for the premium version of this script. For you doing this for your own business, you might not want to invest in the paid version of this script, but there is a free version of this script. So Mike Rhodes, absolute gangster of PPC and Google Ads, he created this script, and he's got a free version that you can find if you search for Mike Rhodes PMax script free. So if you search for that, that's how you spell his name there. If you search for that, you will find this GitHub here. This is where you can get a free version of that script that I just showed you. He's also got a Circle community here where he'll explain to you how to install the script. The free version of the script doesn't have quite as much detail as this paid version, but it will show you the spend breakdown of your PMax campaigns, and it will show you the spend breakdown over time of your PMax campaigns. And those are the important things to check in each of your PMax campaigns every single week. So you can get that from the free version, and yeah, just search for Mike Rhodes PMax script free. I'll put a link in the description below this video as well, just so you can link straight to it. And then the other thing we check each week is our Optimise alerts. So again, this is another sort of paid tool that we have as an agency that might not be worth it for you to invest in. We use this tool over here called Optimizer, which helps us stay on top of all our accounts. And the main thing we check here every week, I mean, it's got a results dashboard. We check that. We just check the results directly in Google Ads anyway. But it's got these notifications over here. So if there are any quick and easy improvements that it spots, like, oh, enable these keywords that have been paused. There's some conflicting negative keywords over here. So some negative keywords have been added that are blocking some positive keywords. So that the alerts in here just help tidy up the account a little bit. Nothing sort of huge or major or groundbreaking in these alerts, but it is a nice extra little icing to have that helps you stay on top of the account. So that's if you want to consider paying for Optimizer. You absolutely don't have to, though. This is just totally optional. This is something we get a lot of value out of because we're managing like tens of millions of dollars in ad spend. So very worth it for us to pay a bit of extra to get some extra alerts and optimization recommendations from Optimizer over here. Okay, finally, so tasks. Once you've done all this stuff, there's just some task management checkpoints that we put on our checklist, which is quick fixes done on the spot. So as you're going through the account, as you're looking through the stats, if you spot anything like, this campaign here is getting a good ROAS, but losing a little bit of impression share due to budget. Oh, actually, that's exactly what's happening here. I might actually want to change this budget and increase this budget on this campaign. Yeah, quick fixes, do it on the spot. So like if you see something where maybe this campaign needs a bit of extra budget, okay, that's going to take me all of 30 seconds to do, so just do it on the spot. So tick this box here to communicate that you've done all your quick fixes on the spot, and then longer fixes should be added to the task list. Then you should review your full task list each week, prioritize the task list, and make sure everything on there is dated. So we do all of this in Asana, like we manage all our Google Ads clients in Asana, and as we're doing the weekly review, any longer tasks are going to get added into the to-do list over here. And then before finishing up our weekly review process, what we're going to do is just prioritize this list, so the most important things are at the top. We are also going to make sure everything is dated, because if it doesn't have a date, it can get missed. And then you are ready to just enter the week, ready to execute on optimizing your Google Ads account. The weekly checklist process is all about getting a master view of your Google Ads performance so that you've always got your finger on the pulse and know what to do next. In terms of things that you might actually want to do next based on what you find, well, you might like this video right up here where I show you a quick 2-minute optimization for your shopping ads that's really quick to do, and I bet you're not currently doing it already. So check that out if it sounds good, and I hope to see you on the next one.